every piece of art, every work always starts with you ask a question, you are curious about something. That has been the continuous drive for me to create. Dream about the unthinkable first. And then even you don't achieve that at the end, but you get closer to where you dream about. So this is the home of the BBC Philharmonic. So for the past 2 days, we have been recording my upcoming symphonic work, City of Floating Sounds. We collaborate with the BBC Philharmonic. They are the orchestra which recorded the symphony, but also we are having different tracks, different stems, dividing up from the recording and to be used in my project. So normally I compose music in my own studio, which has my piano and desk. And of course, when I come to a space like this, to hear my music coming alive is quite a magical transformation. I think we all wish to be like Mahler would create his symphony in a cabin by the lake in Switzerland, or a poet Lipo, right, the Chinese great poet, would get drunk and in the mountain to write his best poetry. And a lot of people think of, composer needs to be in the nature, need to be inspired by a lot of beautiful sceneries, beautiful sounds, things like that. I would say a lot of time we don't get that, but we still need to continue to create. And in fact, it's not about where you are, but about what you hear in your heart, in your ear, and what you see. During the pandemic, we had the virus, either Chinese virus or Wuhan virus, give Asians and Asian Americans very terrible terms. And that creates a lot of discrimination. First time in my life, walking in New York City, a city I love so much, I felt I need to hide so that I could continue to live my life. Yes, that is terrible, but that also served as an inspiration. And during that time, I created a work called Angel Island. It's on the Chinese Exclusion Act through the poetry written and carved into the wooden wall of a barrack at this place called Angel Island. And to me, that gave me extra feeling and heart to create that work, also because of what I experienced during those days. I'm a firm believer of creations or creativities could not be forced. We often get a block. In that case, I just drop everything and not to continue writing. Yes, it's good to wait. It's good to not to continue to write, but to really listen to where my heart tells me. During the pandemic, I still write down music, not necessary for any specific commission or purpose, but it was just music I hear in my head, so I wrote that down. It became a piece I created later called A Dust in Time, just for strings. It's not for any groups or quartets, it's just as music for myself. And it helped me to get out of that darkness and that hard time. And after that, I was able to write again. Sometimes we see the world in a more complete and richer sense if we do that and are able to really enjoy it more. I had an assignment to create a symphonic work as a overture, as a concert opener, and it was very, very hard for me. This is back in 2008, I believe. So what I did is I took a journey to the mountain in China, Guizhou Province, and I listened to Dong minority people singing. They have this traditional singing style, is a cappella. Many people singing, it's called a grand song. So I listened to them singing, and obviously I don't understand that language, but I could feel their emotion and feel their energy. After that trip, I was in a recording studio with my friend. I just randomly creating something. I improvised with my own vocalization. Again, it's not the same as what I listened to, but was inspired by it. I did my recording, and then I found 1.5 minutes of something I really, really like. And then I told myself, maybe I will start my symphonic work with my own vocalization of singing. How many symphonic works starts with the composer singing to themselves and just having a fun time? Normally a place like this size is hard to balance the acoustic, but from what I experienced, I felt quite nice, and it resonates, but also I could hear the details clearly. I have projects where I dream about more than a decade ago. Let's take City of Floating Sounds. I started the idea in 2018. But I think it's worth the wait because it's in a much better form and shape than when I first dreamed of creating this project. City of Floating Sounds has 2 parts. So the first part is the outdoor part. Each person carry the sound source. They will carry a mobile phone playing out each track of different instruments. They can be stretched out, they could contract, they could go this way, that way. And it becomes more and more colorful. It becomes interactive through people's interaction with one another. And every performance, every movement is different. Together, they are walking towards, in our Manchester, would be the factory. The second part of City of Floating Sounds is we invite everybody to the factory, to the Aviva studio. The BBC Philharmonic, now they will perform the entire work live, continuously, in a surrounding setting. So the audience will be in the middle, while the BBC Philharmonic will be surrounding them to circle them. And now they could hear the whole piece unfolding in front of them from all sides. And then you could get the complete experience of City of Floating Sounds. The beauty of City of Floating Sounds is it brings the nature into the city, into people's heart. It's not about where you are, it's about what you hear. So here is the BBC Philharmonic control room, and that's the recording room where the engineer creating magic. These are the 3 excellent engineers who creates the magic for City of Floating Sounds for the past 2 days. To me, it's a very wonderful working process. Yes, it takes time, but we are able to get the sound we needed through that fine ears and fine tuning. So, yeah. My 4th opera, called An American Soldier, we created this work about racism towards Danny Chen, Private Danny Chen, who was hazed in the army and died due to what he suffered. One of the critics wrote, David Henry Huang and Huang Ruo created American Soldier, is bombastically anti-American. That to me was very sad, and again to David as well. Its original version was created in 2014, was premiered that year, and then time passes, only 4 years, and American Soldier was reproduced again. Almost every review we received was very positive. Same piece of artwork, same piece of music. Music should not be just a performance. You want to get reactions out from the audience, but we just need to create the work and to leave that to the public to view, to decide, to reflect. The goal is to connect, to let them feel something. As long as that can be achieved, I think that piece of art has its own value.